Hey guys, Josh here, and recently I had the chance to play a preview build of Tchia, an open world adventure game set to release in early 2023 for PC, PS4, and PS5. So in this video, I wanted to give you my first impressions after playing the PC version, and hopefully this should give you a good idea of whether or not this game will be for you whenever it releases. First, let's talk about the story and atmosphere of the game. You play as Tchia, a young girl living on an archipelago inspired by New Caledonia, and you need to help her rescue her father. New Caledonia is the homeland of the co-founders of Awaseb, the developer of the game, and you can tell they put a lot of effort to make you feel like you're there, whether it's through the landscapes, the languages, the music, the food, and just the whole atmosphere. I'll tell you right away, my favorite parts of this game were the cutscenes and interactions between the characters. The voice acting is all done by local talent in both French and Drehu, the two most prominent languages in New Caledonia, and as a French speaker, it was just really interesting to hear their unique accent, which gave a lot of charm to the interactions.
Tu veux quoi?
Je...
Ah, on s'en fout pas mal. Tu veux savoir, je veux quoi, moi? Du crabe. Je tuerai pour du crabe. J'irais bien le chercher moi-même, mais on va plus à Queo à cause des gens de Unami. Ah, on n'a rien contre eux, hein? Mais eux, ils nous détestent. Apporte-moi du crabe et on discutera.
The preview honestly didn't show too much of the story, just little moments like making a new friend, helping her prepare some kind of fried seafood rolls, attending the village party, and just little slice of life moments like that. But the animations and the dialogues were so well done, I felt like I was on the island just casually enjoying life with these people, and it was really fun. During the party, there was a rhythm minigame, which I enjoyed. It was a little bit difficult, but one good thing about Tchia is that it has tons of accessibility features, and you can skip the minigame and just watch the party if you'd like. Actually, for most of the game, you can skip the gameplay parts if you're stuck or if you just don't feel like doing something, and it will bring you to the next cutscene so you can just progress with the story. Other accessibility options include a setting to replace button mashing by just holding a button, the ability to disable effects like camera shakes and motion blur. There's also a no failure mode where Tchia cannot pass out. There's a family mode in which some scenes are less graphic, and of course, the freedom to rebind any of the keys on your keyboard or gamepad. So the game does offer quite a bit in terms of accessibility features and settings, which should make it an enjoyable experience for a wide audience. Speaking of settings, however, as you can see, the game is beautiful, but I had to lower the resolution and a few details as my laptop was struggling a bit to run the game at first. I think it might not be as optimized as it could be for now, but keep in mind this is just a preview build and things might get better with the full release. I will put my computer specs on the screen so you can make your own judgment and estimate how it would run on your device. As a reminder, Tchia will also be released for PS4 and PS5, so the console version might be a better choice if your PC is not very powerful. In terms of gameplay, this really feels like your typical open world. Think of something like Assassin's Creed or Breath of the Wild, but cozier. You can climb on buildings, mountains, and pretty much everything you see, and there is a stamina system similar to the one in Breath of the Wild, so for example, while you climb, it will continuously go down, and then you can take a rest and it will go back up by itself. As you explore the islands, you will find fruits that increase your maximum stamina, various collectibles, some high point of views that will add surrounding points of interest on your map, various challenges such as races or slingshot target shooting, and you're free to do pretty much whatever you want in between the main missions. Traversing the world is done either by foot, by raft, by swinging yourself from a tree and gliding, and the physics are a bit crazy as you can see, but the most interesting way to travel is by possessing the soul of objects and animals around you. Tchia has the ability to switch soul temporarily, and that lets you control different things from a rock to a bird to a fish and even a computer mouse. Most of these will allow you to move a lot faster than if you were just running as Tchia, and I liked how each one behaved differently. Right now, my only complaint with this system is that the animations sometimes looked a bit glitched or unfinished. I noticed this the most with the deer. As you can see right now, it looks a bit rough, so I hope it gets a bit more polished before the full release, but it's still a fun system and I am looking forward to seeing in what ways we'll be able to use this to maybe solve some puzzles or reach new areas. One way this system is used right now is to destroy the Mano camps. So like with most open world games, the map is filled with camps of enemies that you need to get rid of, but this time you don't have to fight directly as Tchia. You actually need to switch souls with things like gas canisters and make them explode to burn the piles of fabrics and the enemies. If the enemies touch you, your stamina will go down, and if your stamina reaches 0, you will pass out and respawn, but there's no big penalty for passing out. Getting rid of those enemies is also not very difficult, so no worries if you're not too much into combat. But as much as I find the idea of controlling the gas canisters and exploding them interesting, it got very repetitive quickly, and I hope that later in game the camps will require a bit more thinking or creative ways of clearing them. Breath of the Wild was great because you could use so many elements and things in your surroundings to clear up the camps, but here I felt like the only way to do it, at least for now, was just using those gas canisters, so that felt a bit underwhelming. That being said though, there was only one island accessible in the preview build, so it's probably safe to assume that as we progress further into the game and the other islands, those challenges will require a bit more creativity, at least I hope. So in between burning camps and all of these other activities, you can play some ukulele, which works similarly to the musical instruments that are often found in the Legend of Zelda games. For example, you can play a song that will change the time of day, or summon a flower that you can use to bounce really high up, and later on you will unlock more songs with new abilities. There is also a free play mode for the ukulele on which I spent a lot of time. It's probably the most in-depth simulation of a musical instrument I've seen in a video game. Not only can you choose a note to play, you can either pick it or strum up or down, which will create different sounds. You can also bend the notes, change the quality like major or minor. You can also do accidentals. There's just so many details, options, and things to do. Plus, you get to see Tchia playing the actual chords and everything, so you can tell that the developers put so much effort into this feature. I'm not really a good musician, but I had a lot of fun, and if you are familiar with the ukulele, you will definitely be able to spend a lot of time making some music. And taking a break between all of these missions and activities to play some ukulele just makes this game feel so cozy and wholesome. Another thing you can do in your free time is customizing Tchia. So in this game you can't create your character from scratch, but as you find treasure chests and complete different challenges, you will unlock a lot of hairstyles, outfits, and accessories, allowing you to give a new look to Tchia. You can also customize her raft, which will be used a lot as you travel around the islands. By the way, it took me a few minutes to get used to navigating the raft, so basically you have to go to the back of the raft when you want to change the direction, and then go to the front near the sail when you want to change the speed. So you will often change your position on the raft as you sail, and it can be tricky at first, especially on the rivers, where you might have to change the speed and direction often, but once you get used to it, it's pretty fun and it's not too difficult. As you sail around the islands, you'll also discover multiple docks, which can be used at any time to summon and customize your raft or to fast travel. And speaking of fast travel, I did have some issues with the map. It doesn't really show you where you are exactly, only gives you a general idea. And I get that it's meant to be more realistic and give you some sense of exploration, but I found this gimmick to be a bit annoying, especially since all of the icons on the map are really small, and it was difficult to decipher what was what. So on top of that, not even knowing where I was, it was just really annoying. For example, one thing I was looking for was a place to develop my photos. So pretty early, you get a camera, and the camera can be used to take pictures. And just like the ukulele, there are plenty of options, and it's pretty realistic. So you can change the focus, filter, you can turn the flash on or off, and more options. So I was really excited by that feature, and I was looking forward to developing my photos and seeing how they look like, as it is a film camera, so you have to develop your photos first. So it took forever to find the location on the map, because even though there was a point on the map for the place to develop the photos, it was not listed in the legend. So the legend was a bit useless, and I didn't even know what kind of icon to look for. And when I finally found it on the map, I went there and there was a building, but I couldn't enter the building. So I don't know if I did something wrong, if I was at the wrong place, or if this was just not well implemented into the game yet, but I was a bit disappointed that I could not develop my photos, even after all of this hard work, so that was a little bit frustrating. But overall, despite those little issues with the map, the camera, some of the animations when soul switching, and other details that I hope will be fixed with the full release, I quite enjoyed my time with this game. The cutscenes and bits of the story that I got to see were interesting, the atmosphere and the New Caledonian inspired settings were refreshing, and if you like open world games and you're looking for something that's both open world and cozy, or if you just want an in-depth ukulele simulator, I think this might be a game worth looking into. Let me know what you think. Will you be picking up Tchia when it releases later this year? Share all of your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.